Why is it that so many of us struggle to find that perfect balance between standing tall in our own power and becoming someone even we don't want to be around? We chase confidence like it's the ultimate prize, yet somehow, in that pursuit, we've all seen it happen. That subtle shift when confidence crosses the line and transforms into something else entirely. You know what I'm talking about. That person who walks into the room and immediately dominates every conversation. The colleague who can't accept feedback without becoming defensive. The friend who turns every story into a competition they've already won. And deep down, in those quiet moments of honesty with yourself, you wonder, am I sometimes that person too? Pause. Think about it. The truth is, we're all walking a tightrope between self-doubt and arrogance, searching for that elusive middle ground where we can believe in ourselves without needing to prove our worth at every turn. Today, we're going to explore that delicate balance, how to cultivate genuine confidence that empowers rather than alienates, that connects rather than divides, the hidden connection between confidence and arrogance. Here's something most people miss. Confidence and arrogance often spring from the same root, our relationship with uncertainty. True confidence says, I might not have all the answers, and that's okay. Arrogance says, I can't afford to not have the answers, so I'll pretend I do. One embraces vulnerability, the other fears it. This distinction matters because when we understand the psychological foundation of both traits, we can nurture one while recognizing the warning signs of the other. Think about the last time you felt truly confident, not the loud, performative kind, but that quiet, settled feeling of knowing your capabilities while being perfectly at peace with your limitation. That version of confidence didn't need to announce itself. It didn't require constant external validation. It simply existed, like a steady heartbeat beneath the surface of your action. Now contrast that with moments when insecurity might have pushed you toward arrogance. Perhaps you spoke over someone in a meeting because you feared your idea wouldn't be heard otherwise. Or maybe you dismissed feedback that, deep down, you knew contained some truth. These reactions aren't character flaws. They're human responses to feeling threatened or insufficient. The path from insecurity to arrogance is so well traveled, precisely because it offers immediate relief from uncomfortable feelings of inadequacy. But that relief is temporary, and the cost is high. The false armor of arrogance. At its core, arrogance is a defense mechanism, a shield we use to protect ourselves from perceived threats to our self-worth. When we feel uncertain about our value or abilities, we sometimes overcompensate. We puff ourselves up. We dismiss others' contribution. We refuse to acknowledge our mistake. But this armor, while seeming to protect us in the moment, actually keeps us trapped. It prevents genuine connection and blocks valuable feedback. Most of us can instinctively tell the difference between authentic confidence and its counterfeit version. We're drawn to one and repelled by the other, even if we can't always articulate why. That's because true confidence has a quality that arrogance can never replicate. It feels secure enough to make space for others. The confidence paradox. Here's the paradox that changes everything once you truly understand it. The more confident you become, the less you need to prove it to others. Let that sink in. Real confidence whispers. Arrogance shouts. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most confident. They're often the most concerned with being perceived as confident. There's a fundamental difference. When we're genuinely secure in our abilities and worth, we don't need to dominate conversations or dismiss other perspectives. We can listen, truly listen, because we're not threatened by different viewpoints or concerned that someone else's success somehow diminishes our own. This is where the transformation begins. When you recognize that confidence isn't about being seen as the smartest, strongest, or most accomplished person in every situation, but rather about being comfortable with who you are, strengths, weaknesses, and everything in between. Consider how differently we experience people who possess this quiet confidence. They don't enter rooms trying to prove their importance. They don't hijack conversations to showcase their knowledge. They bring a grounded presence that makes others feel valued and heard. That's the kind of confidence worth cultivating, not because of how others perceive you, but because of how it liberates you from the exhausting performance of trying to appear perfect. The 3 pillars of balanced confidence. So how do we build this kind of confidence? The kind that empowers without crossing into arrogance? It starts with understanding 3 fundamental pillars. First, self-awareness. This means developing an honest relationship with yourself, recognizing your strengths without inflation, acknowledging your weaknesses without shame. It means checking in regularly. Am I speaking now because I have something valuable to contribute or because I'm afraid of not being heard? Self-awareness creates space between impulse and action. It allows you to notice when insecurity is driving your behavior, giving you the chance to choose a different response. A powerful practice is to regularly ask yourself, what am I trying to prove right now? And why do I feel the need to prove it? The answer often reveals the insecurity hiding beneath the surface. Second, genuine curiosity. Arrogance assumes it already knows. Confidence remains curious. When you approach conversations with genuine curiosity about what others bring to the table, something remarkable happened. You stop seeing interactions as competitions to be won and start experiencing them as opportunities for connection and growth. Ask questions, not to demonstrate your own knowledge, but to truly understand. Listen to answers not just with your ears, but with your complete attention. When you're genuinely curious, you're focused on discovery rather than validation. And that shift changes everything about how you show up in the world. Third, embracing imperfection. Nothing disarms arrogance more effectively than comfort with imperfection. When you can say, "I don't know," without feeling diminished. When you can admit mistakes without a crisis of identity, you free yourself from the exhausting performance of infallibility. This freedom is the hallmark of true confidence, the ability to exist imperfectly in the world without constant fear of judgment. This comfort with imperfection doesn't mean you stop striving for excellence. Rather, it means you pursue excellence from a foundation of self-acceptance rather than self-criticism. You can aim high while remaining kind to yourself along the way. Practical steps for the journey. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice, not a destination. Here are 4 practical steps you can begin implementing today. First, create a habit of balanced self-reflection. Each day, acknowledge one thing you did well and one area where you could improve. This simple practice builds a more accurate self-image over time, preventing both the distortions of insecurity and the exaggerations of arrogance. Too often, we either focus exclusively on our flaws, leading to insecurity, or refuse to acknowledge them at all, leading to arrogance. This balanced approach helps you develop a relationship with yourself based on honesty rather than fear. Second, practice active listening. In your next conversation, focus completely on understanding the other person rather than planning what you'll say next. Notice how this shifts the dynamic from performance to connection. This means maintaining eye contact. It means asking follow-up questions. It means resisting the urge to relate everything back to your own experience or to offer immediate solutions. Third, expand your comfort with phrases like, "I hadn't considered that perspective. I don't have enough information on that yet. You might be right about that. I made a mistake there." These statements aren't admissions of weakness. They're expressions of strength and security. The ability to acknowledge uncertainty or error without defensiveness is a superpower in a world where many people are trapped in proving they're never wrong. Fourth, seek feedback with genuine openness. Regularly ask trusted friends or colleagues for specific feedback on how you come across in different contexts. Create a safe space for honest answers by demonstrating that you truly value their perspective. The key is to receive this feedback with curiosity rather than defensiveness. Even if you disagree with aspects of what you hear, try to understand the perception before responding to it. Surround yourself with people who embody this balanced confidence. We absorb the qualities of those we spend time with. Seek out relationships with people who are accomplished without needing to prove themselves, who can celebrate your successes without feeling threatened. Here's the deeper truth that transforms how we show up in the world. Confidence isn't something you achieve once and then possess forever. It's a dynamic state that requires continuous cultivation. Even the most self-assured among us experience moments of doubt. The difference is in how we respond to those moments, whether we allow them to trigger defensive displays of arrogance or accept them as natural parts of human experience. True confidence includes the humility to recognize that we are always works in progress. It acknowledges that strength isn't the absence of vulnerability, but the courage to embrace it. When you understand this, interactions become less about protecting your image and more about authentic engagement. Leadership becomes less about asserting authority and more about empowering others. Life becomes less about proving your worth and more about expressing your values. And in that transformation lies the answer to our original question: how to be confident without being arrogant. It's about holding your value without needing to diminish others. It's about bringing your gifts to the table while making space for others to bring theirs. It's about walking through the world with both strength and openness, power and humility. Developing this balanced confidence requires consistent practice and gentle persistence. Each time you catch yourself seeking validation, pause and reconnect with your inherent worth. Each time you feel the urge to prove your superiority, transform that energy into curiosity about what you might learn instead. Each time you make a mistake, practice responding with self-compassion rather than defensiveness. Remember that this journey isn't about perfection, it's about progress. You'll have days when insecurity gets the better of you, when old patterns of arrogance emerge under stress. What matters is not that you never falter, but that you continue returning to this path of balanced confidence. Because ultimately, this journey offers something far more valuable than others' approval or admiration. It offers you freedom. Freedom from the exhausting cycle of seeking external validation. Freedom from the isolation that comes with arrogance. Freedom to exist authentically in the world without the weight of constantly proving your worth. So as you move forward from here, Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate self-doubt or to never make mistakes. The goal is to build a relationship with yourself that's strong enough to withstand uncertainty, flexible enough to grow from feedback, and secure enough to celebrate the brilliance in others without feeling diminished. That's the confidence that changes not just how others see you, but how you experience the world. And that transformation begins with a single choice: the choice to value yourself without needing to prove your value, to trust your journey without comparing it to anyone else. Because when you're standing firmly in your own truth, you no longer need to convince the world of your worth. You simply need to live it. And that is confidence without arrogance.